Welcome to the New Britain Forum for February 19th. I'm John McNamara, moderating this discussion of a new community service that's been initiated by the Spott Unlimited organization and Community Mental Health Associates. To talk about recovery support services today, this project, Spott Unlimited, and what's ahead for this kind of brand new organization are Sam Simmons, who's part of the Spott Unlimited efforts and an organizer of it. Tim Feeney, Recovery Support Services, a coach and advisor in helping people out, and Michele Stewart-Copes, who her firm, her organization, has collaborated with CMHA to put this community-based project together. So I want to welcome you all to the Spott Unlimited that grown out of the Spotswood AME Zion Church, which has a long history, in my experience, of having people step up in the community to serve on boards and just to be of service to the community, not to their own congregation necessarily, but to everybody in the community. So Sam Simmons, welcome. And I wonder if you could start us off by talking about Spott Unlimited and how this project got going. Sam.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here today, John. Yes, and the Spott Unlimited is a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and we was designed to be a recovery support service in the city of New Britain. What we try to do, we try to find gaps in the community and try to fill those gaps. We try to help somebody with a warm handshake over to whatever kind of recovery support that they may need. I had examples. I had a guy the other day ago that he needed some help with Social Security. So I sat down and I helped him set up the appointment, and I'm going to get him to his telephone interview. This is a homeless person, his telephone interview, so he can get some services from his Social Security benefits. So these are the type of things that we do. Over the summertime, I had partnership with New Life 2, with a community barbecue picnic, and they did it twice, and we was part with them, and we had fed I don't know, maybe close to 100 people each time. Then I had noticed that the city has a calendar of where foods are is available at, and I noticed that Thursday night was a gap. So I developed a program, and it's going on its 7th week now, called Grab and Go. And for your partnership with the Elks Lodge, that's right behind Firestone, to offer meals between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock every Thursday evening. This is a hot meal. We have some fantastic meals. Fried chicken was on Thursday night, and there was meatballs. There was pork loin. It was some nice meals that we give out. We also have hand sanitizers we give and face masks. We have a table that has referral services if anybody need help with getting food stamps, getting any kind of assistance. We have things at the table that we can supply them with. We also give away toiletry and socks and hats, gloves, mittens. So we have things like that at our table. Also, this past Thursday, we did a vaccination clinic. We vaccinated people. Right after Christmas on December 27th, we did another vaccination clinic. We vaccinated over 40 people at that clinic, 8 children. So, these are the type of things that we're trying to get involved with.
So, Sam, this is kind of a multi-service volunteer outreach, filling a gap for food insecurity on Thursdays. That's how you started out. Okay, that's a wonderful here.
John, I just want to say it's a little bit more than that, because we are thinking about truly partnering with people that may have been unhoused or in recovery, and being more of an empowerment so they can help us also with providing the services. So we're truly partnering and empowering.
Yeah, well, that's. I'd love to hear where you think this is going, and that's a good segue into having Tim Feeney talk about recovery support services as a coach, as what you do, and how that's working week to week now. And you might want to touch on Michele's point about where you see it going. Tim?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'd like to thank everybody for the opportunity of being on here with everybody, especially with Sam and Michele, because I work closely with them. I just want to give a little bit quick background about myself. I've been a New Britain resident all of my 56 years of my life. So I've been, in and out of the community in many different ways. I'm also a person in long-term recovery. And when I talk about long-term recovery, it doesn't define one thing, because as Michele knows, that I always say, I think everybody is recovering from something. And and it's nice to know what the help they need, because I'm not here to tell somebody what they need. I'm here to assist somebody with what they know they might need. And so just a little bit about, especially like one of the nicest things that happened is with the grab and go that we've been engaging with is in the community. Like, we've met a lot of people. We've met a lot of people who I think are in need, but again, it's not my job to tell somebody they're in need. And, we have a really, really grateful community out there for what we're doing, the services that we're trying to offer them. And something that Michele, was talking about having us work with the community, and then to have the community, work with the community. Because I think what we're trying to, one of my goals is to try to make New Britain a self-healing community. So if we help one person maybe and get some direction or some focus, they might go to the next person and carry it on. And I think if we become a self-healing community, when everybody's involved, I think that's a way to become successful. So, as far as like what I do, a coach is a title. I don't really kind of go by that, because I'm just a community member trying to help the community. And one of our goals in what we do, we have a help meeting once monthly. And we have it right now at the New Britain Public Library, which we will be moving soon. Once the day center is going to be opening up on Arch Street. So we'll be really excited about that, to have a new space. But what we do is we try to meet, we meet every month, and we try to just be there for people for what they need. There's no agenda to the meeting that we do. People come in if they need to talk about something, and we listen. And that's one of the biggest things about our help meeting that we do. Is like we focus on listening with a compassionate heart, and just have like really, really good listening skills. And as people talk, we find out what they need, and we find out what the community needs, and we try to center it around that. But having a specific agenda for it, other than wanting to help people, is kind of, again, if I think I know what somebody needs, I'm going to fall short, most of the time. But so we meet, and we're going to be having one the upcoming next Friday, and it'll be at the New Britain Public Library, and we do it from 3:30 to 4:30. It's an hour meeting. We have waters and stuff like that, and we have, we provide masks if needed and stuff like that. But one of the biggest things is like, again, I always kind of say this, that I believe that everybody's recovering from something, whether it be grief from a loss, whether it be the pandemic and what's been going on, and people may be losing employment and all that other stuff. So we're just there to listen, to help, and provide services to help our community in whatever direction that they feel they need to go.
That's an interesting point, Tim. The pandemic may have exposed some shortfalls in people getting help and reaching out. And do you think this would have come along anyway, or was it kind of inspired by the bad spot, no pun intended, folks found themselves in over the last 2 years?
Well, again, I've been in the recovery community on multiple levels for the last, couple decades, personally. I think it's evolved maybe, I don't know, from a need to a necessity. And I think it's evolving as life is put out there. The pandemic has caused a great number of people suffering from all kinds of, and again, I will use the term addictions because, again, addiction is what people define it as. It doesn't necessarily, addiction, it has to be about drugs. Well, that's the furthest from the truth.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Al-Anon and
Right.
organizations like that, where it seems to be a model that works for lots of things. Well, Sam, can you tell me about the folks doing the meals and preparing all this and backing up Tim in his engagement efforts?
Yeah, so I'm using volunteers, volunteer cooks, and I'm trying to get 4 cooks on board, and so everybody will just have 1 week, one Thursday of the week, so it's not that taxing. I'm supplying the food. I'm spending about $150 a week on food, and we're averaging about anywhere from 40 to 45 meals on a Thursday evening.
Terrific.
John, a couple of Thursdays ago, it was raining really hard, and then the following Thursday before that, it was snowing, and both times I was really debating, should we just cancel out because of the bad weather? But we went through, we carried on, and those were some of the best days that we had. So it definitely shows that there is a need out here if somebody is willing to walk in the rain or ride a bike in the rain to get a hot meal.
And, Sam, I want to follow up on that because one of the major things that people need is support. A lot of people will have identified services, but where the gaps are is that ongoing support to really connect people to the community. And what happened, John, a few years ago, we had an African-American boy that died in a house fire with his little brother. And Bruce Baxter went there with the emergency medical services and felt so bad when he left the fire. He left a whole community on the lawn, and it really broke his heart. And he knew that we were one of the largest churches in the community. So he came to us and said, "Is there something that we could possibly do together?" So during that time, he had the Citizens Academy, and he trained a number of us to respond to crisis. And the Ministerial Alliance was involved with that, the Black Ministerial Alliance. There are 18 of us that were trained. We were trained in family CPR, what to do to respond, until a crisis comes. And we all got, certifications, family CPR and whatnot. And it was just really beautiful. So we had a cadre of people ready to respond to crises. So then we thought, at our church, let's develop recovery support services. As Tim says, everybody's recovering from something. People are recovering from crisis. What can we do as a community to do community? I'm so glad Tim really gave that picture of the village to be helping hands to each other. So that's what we did. We formalized that. Then we thought that we can actually do things for people that are in recovery and having behavioral health problems. So we formalized a partnership with community mental health services. So that's one of the few partnerships. And I do a lot of work. I've worked in 20 states. I do not know of another partnership like this. That's why I'm so excited about it. It is true innovation. And what we do, we are filling the gaps of what other services are not doing. When they close at 4 and 5 o'clock at night, we are still there. When they are not working on the weekends, we are there to respond, to give a helping hand, a telephone call, a conversation, a ride, and food.
Yeah. Well, maybe with Michelle's putting it in perspective, Tim, you can maybe talk a little bit more about that village, or what Reverend King might have referred to as a beloved community, in terms of what obstacles, making no excuses for anybody, but what obstacles do you see ahead for making that happen, or working towards it?
Well, I don't know of any really obstacles right at this time. I think one of the most important things, I know personally for me, and kind of Sam kind of touched on it when we were doing a grab and go during that inclement weather, is like personally what I'm going to do, and Michele and Sam know me pretty well. Like, I'm going to show up. If I say I'm going to show up, I'm going to show up. Sam and I stood out in the rain, and it was like 4 degrees that one day. And if the community counts on us to show up, and I think that's one of the most important things. I mean, I've been taught, I evaded a lot of my responsibilities in my active addiction. And the one thing that I learned in recovery is my word means everything to me. And it means a lot to the community. I don't know exactly what it means to the community because I don't ask people. And if they know that they see our face on a regular basis, if they know that we're going to pick up the phone, if they know that we're going to do this for them, that's the most important thing. Because again, we've heard the expression that talk is cheap. Showing up is solid. Being a part of the community and showing up when we say we're going to show up, or if obviously we have lives going on, and if we can't make something to make sure somebody's in our place to show up. We had one of our recovery meetings the day after Christmas, and the library was closed. I sat in the parking lot for 1 hour in case one person showed up.
Yes.
Because that's the commitment I made, because I don't know when that one person is going to seek services, and they might not ever try to seek it again. So I will show up in the community when I say I will, because somebody showed up for me a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, we often think of random acts of kindness, or now organized acts of kindness, that used to go on in the fraternal and churches of the 20th century. It seems to me that kind of effort needs to be renewed in new forms.
Absolutely.
And has to keep getting renewed. You have to keep working on it, because those structures of bringing the community together, I look at the Catholic Church and its reorganization, what it's going through, seems to be the kind of effort you're doing it at it, and it starts with small steps and small groups of people. But that social fabric will get frayed unless new efforts are made. So that's Michele. You work with Dr. Marie Spivey.
I do.
Your partner, and it's called System for Education, Equity, and Transition.
Yes.
So you're working with groups. I know you've done facilitations on equity and other things. You mentioned this is kind of unique, this kind of project. Are there other projects you can think of mind, or maybe how this project can expand further? You mentioned you'll have a new office or new space to do work.
Well, we will be going into the day center, which will be great. So there will be a captive audience there, which is so wonderful. And Marie and I talk a lot about wraparound services. And, you go back to the centuries, and wraparound is something that is tried and true, has been around a long, long time. And it's about really giving people individualized services as far as what they truly need. And it doesn't stop. Wraparound, the approach is 24/7, and it's empowering, and it's culturally relative. So it looks like the person. And in honor of Black History Month, I think we should be really talking about culturally relevant services and really looking at the culture of that person and giving them what they need. And this is what Marie and I talk about a lot when we give cultural competency services, when we talk about the class standards, cultural, linguistic, appropriate services standards, where it is someone's right to have services in their languages, to have health services, to be able to really be considered equitably in our system. So often we are so discriminatory and we are so judging and we operate under so much stigma that we really have to truly see people's souls, see who they are, and to really do heart-to-heart work. So that's what we're promoting all the time. And we will be operating, with recovery support services and really expanding as the city expands within their needs in responding to what people are truly needing. We're a part of New Britain Care Community Team. So when they meet together, we will receive services with the Hospital of Central Care. So Sam has received one of those referrals, and he had talked about that already. And our team is receiving many referrals from different organizations, and we will continue to respond based on the need, based on what people are asking for.
Maybe Sam can talk about what, as a member of Spotswood, but what brought this commitment for him to be doing this at this point in his life? What motivates you to get this done, Sam?
Oh, Sam, you're muted.
This started well before the pandemic had hit. That where Michele talked about that tragic fire in the city, and the church was trying to figure out what can we do to help. And this is where the Spott Unlimited was born from. We're not part of the church, but it was born from the church. We're trying to have a presence downtown, and there's the new day center. It's going to be at 61 Arch Street, run by the Friendship Center, and 59, I think it's 57 Arch Street, which is the old HRA building. They're building that out now to be a day center where somebody who needs some kind of, I'm gonna put it this way here, this might need a hug. They can come in, they can take a shower, they can get their clothes washed, they can just get a warm cup of coffee, they can sit down and talk to somebody. The Spott Unlimited will have an office space down there. We will have our monthly health meeting at that location. This is something that's going to be there year round. And what's so unique about this particular day center is a community build out. Goodwin Tech is doing a lot of the construction work there. They're doing the plumbing, electricity. South Church is involved. All the different churches in the city. Everybody is joining together for one common goal to make this particular center happen. This is not a unique thing. This is these centers are throughout the state, but this is the first one in the city. And it's been decades that the city has talked about this here, but it's going to happen. And the target date for this year is going to be the beginning of the spring, around April. They're doing the build out right now.
Mm-hmm. And to anybody on the panel, I'm not one, but skeptics would say, well, isn't there an overabundance of social services and welfare services? That point of view, some of us here in various spots in our town, and unfortunately on the body politic. I don't think anybody's thrown that at you, but what's your response to that?
Well, you can say that and stuff, but then if you just drive through the town in your car, you don't see nothing. But if you get out and walk the streets and you see what's going on, you see the people who just walk it aimlessly, but they don't have any support, any family background to help them. You go down to the fast track and you see the men and women just hanging out there. It's a problem. People are sleeping in tents around the city. And, like I said, you're just driving through the town in your car. You don't see this here. But if you get out and you walk around and you talk to people, over the summertime, I was at the farmers market every Wednesday and talking to people and seeing what was really, truly going on. Abundance of services. Some people don't know how to tap into these services. Some people don't or they go and they just get discouraged because nothing happens. So yeah, I gave all my information and nothing happened for me. I'm still in the same boat. So this is where we're trying to be here to. So this is not happening. So that we'll be that warm handshake. You're running into a stumbling block. We're going to be there to help you and guide you and get you in contact to make sure you do get what you're looking for.
And John, I just want to say that there are a number of agencies that provide services, but what agency provides 24/7 support? We're saying we provide support to people, a telephone call or just someone to talk to after hours on the weekends. I don't know of anyone else just doing that. So a lot of times it's hard for people to understand what we do. They say, well, tell me exactly, what does recovery support services do? We do what people ask for and need when others fall short.
And Tim, that hands-on, high-touch approach is what you've been talking about in terms of that the Thursday nights with Sam and the meeting at the library and that sort of thing. That's where you, for lack of better, meet people where they are.
Correct.
My experience is working at a community college for 20 years that we've had to use microgrants and raise money for microgrants. So if a student misses a utility bill or the rent, they're out of school. So that's the kind of help you're talking about in your efforts.
Correct. Yeah, we're just, like I said, as far as like with our monthly meeting, we're really looking forward to the day center and the opportunity of maybe moving it like weekly. We'll see what happens. And I just want to let everybody what help actually means. It's help everyone's lives prosper. That was just put on my heart when I kind of came up with this a few years ago. And then talked to Michele and Sam about using it, incorporating it into what we do. And like, we have a team of 5 coaches. And again, I just use coaches as a term, but I'd rather use we have 5 human beings that have a lot of different lived experiences and a lot of different ways of helping people. So, that's what we're all about. And I don't know, this is like one of my passions because I just see a lot of people in need of something. And just to, one of Sam's point, like I'm one of the best huggers in the town. So, I don't hesitate. The pandemic put a little damper on us having physical contact, but I think a hug or a hold of a hand is one of the most important things that somebody can encounter in their lives or
trust and encouragement is what you're all about.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And I think we want to bring this to a conclusion. Any final thoughts from anybody, but particularly from Sam, about how people can help or support Spott Unlimited?
Yeah, let's like to go who's on our team. We have Tim Feeney, who is our recovery coach support. And then he has 5 other people underneath him. Reverend Brian Riley, Reverend Glory McHenry, Angela Ballaford Franklin, and myself, Samuel Simmons. You can get in contact with us through email, the Spott Unlimited @gmail.com. I'd like to say thank you for the Pride of Connecticut Elks Lodge.
Yes.
For the use of their building. Give us that downtown presence.
Seems to me I've had some very good meals there.
Yes.
Michele, any final thoughts?
Oh, I just want to say that donations are welcome. Please come and help us. We're always looking for volunteers. Marie Spivey always talks about how we can really give from the heart in so many different ways. And I'm really, really loving our partnership. We are so appreciative also of Chief Baxter, who has supported us. We are also partnering with New Britain Recovers. So as long as we can partner, we can build the village and we can help everyone who is in need.
Mm-hmm. And Tim, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, really quickly, I was just like, I I'm a big proponent of breaking the stigma and the stigma of anything. And there's no shame in seeking recovery, because I know for myself, for years of pain and recovery has brought me nothing but joy.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you all for being here today. This has been our edition of New Britain Forum. It's a project of our local news project, the New Britain Progressive, which is trying to bring local news, dialogue, and in this case, good news about what's happening in New Britain. You can reach us at newbritainprogressive@gmail.com. And you can also subscribe to New Britain Progressive via your email. So thank you all for being here. And it's been great to engage with you in this important conversation. Have a good day.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay.